This episode is going to be kind of weird because I think this happens after Operation Archon, but before the A Realm Reborn patches. However, as you can see, I'm currently wearing Heavensward gear, so just ignore the time paradox, I guess. So you decide to go investigate that roar that you heard at the end of Base Realm Reborn, and for like the first time ever, Rule 63 Alphino decides to accompany you on this expedition. A quick question, if someone finds Alice attractive, does that automatically make them gay for Alphino, or vice versa? I mean, they literally look identical, and thank the 12 they have different colored stones on their outfits, or I wouldn't be able to tell them apart. Asking for a friend, of course. So you head down there and you find some nasty news. Louis Sois didn't actually kill Bahamut. I mean, bless him, he tried, but things didn't quite go as planned. When Bahamut died, quote unquote, he still retained his physical form, unlike what normally happens to primals. He ended up in an underground prison where Allagan technology was automatically set to capture his corpse and restore it back to life. The Allagans were this ancient empire of people with technology that would make the Garleans of today blush. They were at war with the dragons at some point, and these dragons tried to summon Bahamut to give themselves a leg up during the war. The Allagans still managed to beat them to a bloody pulp, and they imprisoned Bahamut inside of Dalaman, the same moon you saw him emerge from in the game's opening. So having discovered that the monster that straight up deleted version 1.0 is still kinda sorta alive, and that her grandfather's sacrifice was probably in vain, Alice is understandably feeling pretty shook, but we both at least try to commit to turning off all 4 coils. After shutting down coil number 1, we see Nael, the legatus who was in charge during the previous era, and surprisingly, Louis Sois himself, which is weird because they both should have died in 1.0. On our way to turn off coil number 2, we run into Nael again, and she's also kinda sorta half alive like Bahamut. Remember that tempering that primals can do? Well, Bahamut's over here managed to temper her soul at the last second and bring her back as a spirit that's completely loyal to him. You knock some sense back into her and y'all are having a pretty substantial conversation until Bahamut fucking smites her and he's all like, "Quiet, bitch, you're cutting into my beauty sleep." Then Louis Sois' ghost shows up, and he's unfortunately been tempered the same way by Bahamut as well. Alice, what do you mean you sat out a majority of A Realm Reborn? You seriously thought Alphino trying to make his own damn police force was a good idea? I tried to tell him it was a bad idea. He wouldn't listen to me. Also, this happens before he creates the Crystal Braves, by the way. Excuses. That's why I don't like you two. Piss off. So we go back in again, and this time Alphino comes with us. We learn some more Allagan history. As a little aside, holy shit, these guys were assholes. I'd hate everyone too if I was in Bahamut's shoes. Or claws. You get the idea. Regardless of the past though, Big Dragon Boy is still too dangerous to be left alive. Some things don't change. So we go to shut off the 3rd coil, and Bahamut's actually almost done. God damn, those machines work fast. Louis Sois shows up again, but with a twist. Think back. How exactly did Louis Sois manage to beat Bahamut after the first summoning of the 12, that prison spell they tried after that failed? Because remember, they put a lot of resources into that, and then Bahamut still broke free. However, Louis Sois still managed to secure a W. How? He had channeled everyone's hopes and dreams on the battlefield and used that, along with the copious amount of ether floating around from the failed sealing magic, to charge up Bahamut, withstand his attacks, and kill him, or so he had thought. What happens when lots of aether meet the prayers of desperate people?
It is an abomination!
Yup, he became a new primal. Phoenix. So you beat some sense back into him as well, which frees him from Lizard Breath's control. So after that well, technically me, because you already know the NPC characters barely do shit when things actually get serious. Oh, don't be like that. They made a shield to buy you some time. I guess so. Okay, I'll give them that. But I head into Bahamut's heart along with a couple level 90 players that may or may not have been carrying me through the entire dungeon. And together we beat his spirit. Then we turn off the 4th and final coil, which allows his body to dissolve into etheric energy like it should have all along. The 3 of us opt to keep this whole ordeal confidential because we don't need any crazy motherfuckers trying to summon Fiasco, hoping that'll fix their petty problems or whatever. That primal is not on call. Well, that was a pretty important piece of side content. Optional, my ass. But thankfully, I had only finished base Heavensward at this point, so I wasn't too far in before scratching my head. But anyway, that will mark the end of this very short video. Actually, holy shit, this was pretty short. I might make like a new series based off of this, who knows? Because that was a pretty short video. But anyway, you guys know what to do. Leave a like if you enjoyed it, sub to the channel if you haven't already, and I will see you all again very soon.